there, and welcome back to our YouTube video series on wellness. My name is Nina, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about cooking and how the process of preparing your own food can increase your overall experience of positive affect and emotion and enhance your overall well-being and that of the people around you. So before I get into the recipes I have prepared for us today, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm a freshman here at Marywood University. So with that being said, I am of course a psych major, as we all are in this project working together here. And I was originally drawn into the field of psychology, and I'm like, this is what I want to study because I want to know how our brains work. I want to know, how our thinking impacts our habits, impacts our lives. And, what are the keys to good mental health? And how can I, with that knowledge, better my own life, the lives of people around me, and those that I would end up counseling in my career, perhaps. But one of the biggest things about cooking your own meals in this mindful, meaningful act is you get this sense of gratification in your end product. It didn't just arrive at your doorstep. You didn't get it at the takeout line. You made it. You took the time, you crafted it, and you made this thing, and it came out either great or not so great, but you'll learn from it and you could do it again and it'll be better. And the next big thing about preparing your own meals is the sense of autonomy and control that we get. We didn't have somebody make it for us. We crafted it on our own. And the act of doing that, as in you're in charge, nobody's supervising you, nobody's telling you you're doing it the wrong way. The recipes are yours to make your own. And that's what the beauty of cooking is we live in this world that is all about efficiency nowadays. We go towards that convenience because it's what's most efficient. So we order out. Or even if we do cook, we cook for the sake of let me cook this as quick as I could. I'm fed. But there's no art to it. There's no appreciation of it. There isn't really a gratification except for oh, I'm not hungry anymore. We sort of just, if we're not ordering out, we just kind of go through the motions in the kitchen. So as empirical data indicates, being more mindful, concentrating on the present, focusing on, the experiences that we have in our everyday lives rather than, going through the motions of things. This is shown to definitely increase your overall well-being and life satisfaction. It works, it decreases your stress. You're not having that rumination, the constant, thinking of thoughts. You're just focusing on the present. And by lowering our stress and lowering those cortisol levels, we affect our overall health, because prolonged cortisol levels, high cortisol levels in your body is like a toxic. Engaging more in our surroundings, in our environment, and being this more mindfully present person is going to affect your health, both mental and physical. So with that in mind, I prepared some recipes for you all today that are dorm friendly, meaning the only thing you need to make them is a microwave. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to be making the matcha latte. So what you're going to need for this is a container of matcha powder. Depending where you get this from, it could be a little bit expensive, but they have it at places like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods for probably a much more affordable price. So I would definitely check there. You're gonna need a glass of hot water. I fill it just a little bit. That might even be a little too much water, but you want it mostly in the bottom. And then your choice of milk. I like almond milk. This is unsweetened, but it has vanilla flavor in it. Again, any kind of milk that you like. And then I have sugar because we're gonna sweeten it. You can also sweeten this with honey if you want to. And then I have a spoon to mix and a teaspoon scoop because we're going to do 2 teaspoons of matcha powder. Okay, and I almost forgot. I have this special little tool. It's a mini frother that my friend got for me because she knows that I love matcha. So it just kind of spins a little bit. It makes everything a little bit bubbly. There's a giant dog hair on it. Okay. So I have all my tools. Okay, so the first step is going to be dissolving your sweetener in your hot water. So I like it really sweet because I have a terrible sweet tooth. So I'm going to put a couple tablespoons of sugar in the hot water, and then I'm going to stir. Okay, so here we are. I'm getting the sugar. For me, at least, I'm not a nutritionist. I don't know that area of science. But the research that I have supports how making something on your own and knowing what's in it gives you that sense of autonomy and gratification. Right now, I'm just dissolving the sugar in the hot water, and this is going to make like a simple syrup almost, which is what the liquid sugar that you would get at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. I'm a Dunkin' person, but I'm dissolving this now, and as you can see, it's not like water anymore. It's thick. It looks like water, but it's thick because there's sugar dissolved in it. And so you don't want it to be grainy, and that's why it's important. That's why you're not just throwing the sugar in at the end, because you want it to be dissolved so that you're actually getting the sweetness and you're not just getting the graininess of the sugar. Okay, so step 2 is we're going to take our 1 teaspoon and we're going to do 2 of these in our hot water. Before I use my frother, I'm just going to mix it with the spoon to get all the big clumps dissolved. Okay, and there again, here we see it frothing beautifully. So yeah, to get a decent amount of bubbles usually takes about a minute or 2. If that, probably like 30 seconds. I'm impatient, so I think this is good. Okay, and if you want to be fancy like me, you can get a, what do they call these? A frosted mug. So I just put this in the freezer for a little bit so it's nice and cold. You could serve it right in the glass that you made in it if you want to. I just like to put it in this, be a little bit extra. So then you're going to get your milk. And you're going to fill your glass about halfway, a little bit more than halfway with milk. And again, if you're pouring it in there, you just pour it in until it's your desired color. And we're going to go ahead and dump it in. Okay. And now I'll do the frother one last time. And you can see we have that nice, beautiful green color. Last step is to add your straw. I'm using a metal straw because save the dolphins and the turtles, right? And that's it. That's our matcha latte. It took like a minute, 2 minutes, if that. And I swear to God, it's better than Dunkin'. So there's this one study that was done in 2005. And overall, the study indicated that this routine, this consistency of, making your own food on a daily basis and having that autonomy and gratification that comes with it, and having the ones in your home even participate and have it as an activity to do with somebody you love, it kind of works as this like haven from the outside world. With our little entree for this meal. So what you're gonna need is a box of instant rice, and you want to make sure that it's instant because you can make this in the microwave. Next, you're gonna need some kind of already pre-cooked chicken. I got this one from Quinn's. It was $2, so we'll see how that goes. But you don't want it to be chicken from a can because the texture is gonna be wrong. So you want it something that's like already cooked and frozen so that you can just kind of steam it up in the microwave. Next thing I have is a bag of frozen vegetables. You can use fresh as well if you'd want to. Okay. And the last things you're gonna need for this are your favorite kind of sauce. For this, I'm going to be using Yum Yum sauce. You can get this at Wegmans. This is one of the sauces that they use at those hibachi style restaurants. But I feel like teriyaki would be really good on this. I've done it with ranch dressing before. That's really good too. Oh, and also if you're vegetarian, I've also had this many times with veggie burger. So I'm going to follow the instructions on the box. So for regular rice, when you're boiling it on the stove, it's going to be 2 cups of water for 1 cup of rice. But it looks like this instant rice is 1 cup of rice for 1 cup and 1 cup of water. I'm going to go ahead and put that in our microwave safe bowl and toss it in the microwave. Okay, while our rice is in the microwave, I went ahead and looked at the instructions on this. So it says about 30 seconds to 1 minute. So when the rice comes out, I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken in. Okay, guys, chicken is done. Rice is cool. Smells good. I'm going to go ahead and throw the broccoli in the microwave, and we're going to assemble the chicken and the rice together. Okay, so we have the chicken all nicely spread out on top of the rice. And now is the time when you're gonna take your sauce and we're gonna drizzle the sauce over the top. Alrighty gang, so the rest of the sauce is on the chicken now after I pitifully long struggle with the bottle to get the rest of it out. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab the broccoli out of the microwave, and we'll put it on the side as a nice little garnish. Alrighty, our broccoli is done. It's really hot, so be careful you don't get burned from the steam. And I'm gonna go ahead, ooh, oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick out some nice pieces to put on the side. Alrighty guys, and here we are, our main dish. Play around with the recipe, make it your own. Okay, so after we've prepared our entree with the chicken and rice, and you put your own little spin on it, I want to talk a little bit about this one study, and I'll put it up in the corner somewhere, that talks about mindful eating and the ways our eating habits impact our life. So this study actually dealt more with mindless eating. So this study talks about mindless eating, and that, you know, we're not paying attention to if we're hungry, or maybe eating if we're bored, if we're sad, etc. and so on. And this act of, you know, not eating because we're hungry, or eating just because, or maybe we are hungry but we're not really participating in it, we're just kind of trying to satisfy that need instead of actively engaging in this process of like sitting down to have a meal, have time to focus on eating itself. And this study indicated that our eating habits and eating behavior affect our functioning across 4 different aspects, and that is individual, which would be our perception of ourselves, our self-confidence, you know, how we feel physically, that kind of stuff. And then the second aspect is interpersonal, which means our relationships. You know, if I were to make dinner for my family, I would feel that, you know, I gifted them this thing, and I would get more gratification from preparing a meal for more people than I would for myself. And then the next is environmental. So that relates more to, you know, culture and where you are in the world, sort of thing. And also the structure of your house and your family unit. And then societal, which is on a larger aspect. How do our eating habits perpetuate, you know, what our societal eating habits are? Meaning, like, if I get takeout a lot, then, like, you know, we all kind of get takeout a lot because that's what society does. Mug cake. This one is a very small study, and it was done on those that had chronic mental illnesses. So they're living in this facility. And it was 12 people overall. It was 10 men and 2 women. And in the study, they had them attend regular baking sessions where they learned skills and they worked in a classroom sort of environment. After the study was concluded, the experimenters interviewed the participants, and what they found was that most of them expressed this heightened sense of competence within themselves. In particular, they highlighted 5 benefits, which I'm going to now talk about a little bit. So they said that baking increased their concentration, meaning that they weren't so busy with maybe rumination or, you know, what was going on in the environment. They were able to actually focus in the activity they were partaking in, which is baking. They discussed improved coordination. As they bettered their skills, they were better able to go about them without perhaps feeling nervous and feeling shaky. You know, over time, they were able to do it more seamlessly, which again would boost their self-confidence and competence. And going into that, they noted that their self-confidence had increased, or rather helped this act of baking and acquiring the skill increased their confidence in themselves and helped them be a little bit kinder and more loving and gentle towards themselves, because they attributed this new skill in their repertoire of themselves. And again, the thing I've been touching on this whole time is that sense of self-achievement, is the gratification of doing this act and having a result that turned out positively. And as I mentioned in the beginning, they were now able to occupy their time in a meaningful way as opposed to just playing Scrabble, playing a game. They were able to have a product that had a purpose to it. Okay, I think that about wraps everything up. So I want to thank you for watching this video if you watched it all the way through. I hope that you enjoyed the recipes, and if not, that you at least found this video somewhat entertaining and interesting. But the real point of this video is to talk about that we need to prioritize our wellness and the ways that we can work on our wellness and mindfulness in our daily lives to benefit ourselves and those around us. So I hope that you all take care. I hope that you all are well, and sending you all my love and support.